Hey guys, it's me, Max. I've recently been getting into Squid Game, and the idea of putting several fictional characters into Squid Game to see who would come out on top. So it eventually dawned on me that if there were a group of characters that would actually want to kill each other for money or pure fun, it would be horror movie characters. I'm a huge horror fan, so I thought it'd be fun to take 36 horror movie characters that I know and place them in Squid Game to see who I think would win. Some of these characters are well known, while others are pretty obscure. The main rule here is that characters with amazing powers will have their powers removed, so there's no cheating in the game. But I will allow characters to bring in their signature weapon if they have one. I'm just a nice guy like that. I'm basically going to be ad-libbing this whole thing, so my thought process may be a little clumsy. I'm going off of the knowledge I already have on these characters, which is why I intentionally chose characters that I knew better. Because I'm not sure. There are some characters that I wouldn't be able to talk about as well, so I chose these pretty particularly. But I pretty much know I know a good amount of all the characters chosen here. So real quick, let's go over the characters that we got here. We have Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. We have Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, and we've got Pamela Voorhees from Friday the 13th. We have Michael Myers from Halloween, Chucky from Child's Play, Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Ghostface from Scream, Herbert West from Reanimator, Pennywise from It, Jack Torrance from The Shining, Annie Wilkes from Misery, Carrie White from Carrie, Norman Bates from Psycho, Pinhead from Hellraiser, Pumpkinhead from Pumpkinhead, The Tall Man from Phantasm, Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs, Reagan from The Exorcist, John Kramer from Saw, Candyman from, Candyman, the Djinn from Wishmaster, the Leprechaun, again, self-titled series, Angela Baker from Sleepaway Camp, Captain Spaulding from, what would you call it, the Firefly trilogy, Samara from The Ring, the Xenomorph from Alien, Matt Cordell from Maniac Cop, Billy from Black Christmas, Billy from Silent Night Deadly Night, Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, Max Cady from Cape Fear, Henry Evans from The Good Son, Esther from The Orphan, Corky and Fats from Magic, the Trickster from Brainscan, and to wrap it all up in a nice bow, we have Dracula from the Universal movies, a real classic to meld well with all of these sort of 80s, 90s horror characters and also more modern ones. We got the classic in there. So I guess if I can set the scene for you, if I can just set the scene, all of these horror movie characters got slapped by this guy, and then they got money, I guess, and I guess they didn't kill him. And now here they are, waking up in Squid Game. No, alright, let's just say it's like some SCP kind of shit, right? They kidnap a bunch of superpowered characters, or you don't fucking need a story. They're just all here. They all want the cash prize. Even Pennywise, the killer clown, he wants some of that money too. So let's start. Basically I'm gonna go over these challenges. I'll try to see who I think would live and who wouldn't. And when it comes to challenges where I need to I need to eventually cut it down to 2 people for Squid Game, so there will be some moments where I have to intentionally get rid of half or something. So let's just start with red light, green light. Freddy Krueger, I think he's making it past red light, green light. Not only is he already wearing red and green on his sweater, but I mean, he's actually a pretty calculating guy. Oh, wait a minute, I should first say, for red light, green light, I think what makes a survivor out of this one is, being good, not freaking out when the first person gets killed, which, luckily, every single one of these characters is a killer who has killed somebody, so I don't think they're gonna panic all that much when someone gets actually killed in Squid Game, so they don't gotta worry about that. This one's more about being level-headed enough, and I guess, not being too clumsy, I guess? Anyways, let's see. For red light, green light, yeah, I mentioned Freddy's gonna be fine. He's a calculating kind of guy. He's smart enough to know not to fuck this one up and immediately get killed. Jason? Yeah, this is not too complicated of a game for Jason. I mean, sure, he does walk, But, I mean, in the earlier movies, we saw he can fucking go to a full sprint when he has to. So I think he'll make it to the end of the road in time. Michael, he generally walks, but he'll always somehow catch up to his victims. So, I mean, I think also like the time to get to the to get there is pretty sparing. They give you a pretty long amount of time to get to the end of the road. Chucky is probably one of the faster guys here because of his short size. It might make it a longer run for him, but I see him making it just fine. And he's actually pretty good at going into doll mode and stopping suddenly when he has to. So when it becomes red light, he'll be fine. Leatherface. Okay. Alright, if someone does die, I actually could see him panicking. I don't know. He seems like he's really scared. He seems like a scared child to me. I mean, I know he does do a lot of fucking murder, but he is a little childish. Yeah, I think he might be our first casualty. Actually, I think Leatherface might get too scared. Oh, poor guy. Ghostface. Now, okay, for Ghostface, I'm imagining it's Billy Loomis, not Stu, and not the other Ghostfaces. If it were Stu, I would definitely put him here because he trips over everything. He is a clumsy ghost face. There have been a lot of clumsy ghost faces, but whenever it's supposed to be Billy under the mask, I think we generally see Ghostface be more competent. In which case, I think he might be able to go on. I think Billy can understand this game pretty well. Yeah, he would be fine.
What's the matter, Sydney? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Jack Torrance. He was pretty deranged, but I don't think he's deranged to the point of not being able to play red light, green light. I mean, he's not gonna panic when someone dies. I think he'll be fine. Annie Wilkes is fine. Carrie's, would she panic? I mean, when she got covered in blood, she didn't really panic as much as she just stood there with her eyes widened and killing everybody. I would say she's pretty cool under pressure. If anything, I think she can make this. Pumpkinhead, okay. Alright, see, if Pumpkinhead goes into a full sprint, I do not think he is stopping in time when it becomes red light. I think he's gonna just go like, oh shit, and then he's gonna get shot. and a single bullet will put him out. That's all it took, was one bullet to actually kill Pumpkinhead. Let's say these are like some supernatural, amazing bullets that can kill horror movie characters. It's either ultra powerful bullets. Reagan. Okay, so it is a child, but I'm pretty sure Chucky can make the distance too. So even if it's longer distance, I think she can make it. But Reagan is ultimately Pazuzu, who I don't think cares about whether or not Reagan survives this. But let's say that Pazuzu's life is tied to this one. Pazuzu needs to like not die. If Reagan dies, Pazuzu's out. So I think Pazuzu will make it. Pazuzu can get through red light, green light. Cause it doesn't seem like Pazuzu is that dumb. Pazuzu's mean, but not dumb. Yeah, that's fine. John Kramer is definitely getting out of this one, even though, admittedly, he is pretty physically frail. I don't know if he's in the wheelchair or if he's just before he had to get in the wheelchair and is just physically frail. But we saw in Squid Game that an old man can indeed make that distance. And granted, it was the old man who created the entire Squid Game. Spoilers. But he knew a little more going on. But I think Jigsaw is smart enough to grasp this game and figure out a good strategy, like how to run well. I think he's gonna be fine. The Leprechaun?
I need me gold!
Okay, like he is pretty full of himself. But again, this is red light, green light. And he probably, like, there's money on the line in this game. He's not gonna fuck it up if there's money on the line. He loves his gold.
Have I mentioned that I want me gold?
He loves it. He's probably getting a lot of gold Mario coins if he gets past this one. So, I think Leprechaun is safe for this one. He's got a good motivation. If there was no money on the table, maybe he would have been arrogant enough to go, you can't keep me here, I've got magic. And he'll try the magic and it won't work. And then he'll just die. But that won't work. He was not going to do that. He wants the money. He'll be okay. The ring, she can do this, like, teleport walk. Like, she'll walk slowly, but then she'll, like, jump cut forward. And I bet she can stop. Like, she can stop pretty quick suddenly. I think she is built for red light, green light. She's gonna be perfectly fine. Yeah, this one is an easy pass for the ring. Okay, Xenomorph. Same thing with Pumpkinhead over here. I think he's gonna start running and stumble and fall. I don't know if he can stop on a full sprint when he gets going. Patrick Bateman, I could see not actually thinking this is happening. Like, Patrick Bateman, throughout American Psycho, we can't really tell what murders are real or not. The popular kill that he did with the axe, that didn't actually happen, as it was revealed later. So, yeah, I don't know how he's gonna take red light, green light. He probably won't take it very seriously, and yeah, I think he might actually get himself killed here. I don't think he's got a good enough head on his shoulders. He's gonna have some sort of breakdown. I don't think this is gonna work for him.
No new knowledge can be extracted from my telling. This confession has meant nothing.
Henry Evans, he's a kid, but yeah, he was a pretty smart kid. And, you know, I assume kids would be pretty good at red light, green light. Yeah, so Kevin's fine. Esther from The Orphan, she's not actually a kid. She's a grown woman with, like, just the body of a child. So she'll understand red light, green light. The Trickster from Brain Scan. Oh, look at him go. He'll be fine. He's smart. He'll do it. And Dracula, he'll make it too. So we only really lost 4 people at red light, green light. I think you've got to be pretty clumsy to lose at red light, green light. And, well, yeah, these 2 were too big for it. And these 2 were, like, not mentally prepared for it. I think that's about right for red light, green light. We usually, in Squid Game, they lost a lot more at red light, green light. But that was because everyone fucking panicked when someone got killed. And these guys would not panic at that. They do not care. Everybody here has taken a life. So, alright, we got through red light, green light with few casualties, which unfortunately for a lot of these guys, there's about to be a lot more casualties on the table once we go further in. Alright, so the cookie challenge. I think what it takes to win the cookie challenge is, I guess, being smart enough to figure out that licking tactic to get the shape out of it, or to be just precise and steady with your hands. That's usually what it takes. If you are, like, too quick to anger, and you don't think things out well, or you're too strong, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work out. Freddy, I think he's gonna be fine. He's already good at, like, he's a pretty intelligent guy, but also, yeah, I think Freddy just being generally good with blades is gonna be good for him here, and I think he has patience. I mean, he can get angry, but I don't think this is gonna be what breaks him. Jason, on the other hand, I unfortunately see him breaking the cookie the second he grabs it. Jason is really strong, and I'm pretty sure I don't know if he can handle his own strength. He'll pick up the cookie and it'll immediately crumble, and he'll get shot in the face and die. That'll be it for Jason. A normal gunshot takes him out. Pamela, on the other hand, I think she could do it, assuming she doesn't first witness Jason die again right in front of her. That might set her off, but I mean, I think she's gonna be fine. She seems to be, like, steady enough with weapons, and seem to be patient enough. I mean, she can at least feign being nice. I don't know. We might have to, if we have to cut back on a few people. She's one of the people I'm the least sure about with the cookie challenge, but I think she'll be fine. Michael Myers, we've seen that he's actually a bit of an artist. With his murders, he likes to set them up all nice-like. You know, he likes to do a little bit of drawings. He's a bit of an artist. He might have a little bit of fun with the cookie challenge, like, you know, cut a little star. He's probably cut a little stars with that knife of his before. I think he can do it. Yeah, he'll be fine. Chucky, he's sort of like akin to Freddy, where I think he's smart enough to calm down. Like, he can get angry, but I think he would be smart enough to figure this out. Although I don't know if that tongue like licking up the cookie is gonna work for him because he's a doll, and I don't know if he has a real tongue. Wait, no. The more he stays inside the doll, the more human the doll becomes. They eventually become actual organs, so I assume it actually would be a tongue if he's in his body for a while. So alright, yeah, he can do the thing with the tongue. He can lick the cookie. He'll be okay. You're gonna be okay, Chucky.
You know what they say. You just can't keep a good guy down.
Herbert West is probably the guy who figures out the cookie thing, to be honest. He'll probably be the first one to realize that you can lick the cookie. He's a really smart guy. Pennywise, he'll probably figure it out too. We've seen he likes to lick things. When he licked that big mirror, he's got a big tongue for licking. He'll do it just fine. Yeah, I think Pennywise can make... He's also, seems to me, with the way he holds his balloons, he's got a delicate hand. He can do it just fine.
Beep, beep, Richie.
Jack Torrance. Oh boy. He might break the cookie. I don't even think he's of sound mind enough to, even if he wasn't always angry, he would have to, settle down and carve, an umbrella out of the cookie. He might get stuck with the umbrella and get so pissed off. Yeah, I think we're losing Jack Torrance in this one. That's a shame. I really love The Shining. Reagan, might vomit all over the cookie, but Pazuzu could probably figure it out just fine. Candyman, he has a hook for a hand. Would that be good or bad for this? I'm gonna swing on bad. You need both hands to do this, and one giant hook is going to break the cookie. I think we've lost Candyman. I think having that giant hook for a hand is going to be bad for him. The Djinn? He's pretty reliant on his powers. He's probably smart enough to catch on, but this will all be... If anyone's going to fuck up, when everyone figures out all these tactics, he'll be the one I can see fucking it up, because he doesn't really know how to do these human games and such. Yeah, we might have to lose Djinn here. I mean, how far was he gonna get without his powers? Leprechaun, he doesn't have his powers either. And look at those big fucking hands he's got. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I don't think he's even smart enough to figure this out. Yeah, he's probably, before anyone starts licking the cookie, he'll probably start trying to break it and it won't work.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Matt Cordell is breaking the cookie, no doubt in my mind. Billy? He is sort of in a same boat as Jack for me, where I think he's probably too crazy to keep things calm. We saw, at one point, I don't even think it was prompted, he was just, upstairs in the attic and started fucking throwing shit all over the attic. He was just freaking out and yelling. I think the cookie, he's throwing the cookie and getting shot. Billy from Silent Night, Deadly Night! Well, the cookies weren't being naughty or anything, so I guess he has no reason to get mad. Well, I haven't really seen any skills from him, nor have I seen exceptional feats of intelligence from Billy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Billy's out. We lost Billy. Henry Evans, he'll get it. He's a smart kid. He'll understand to lick the cookie. He'll probably want to lick the cookie. Oh, and I skipped past Max. Max? He's got it. He's got it for sure. I know he's strong, but he's also, he planned out a lot of shit in that movie. In Cape Fear, he does a lot of planning. He's a smart guy. He'll do this just fine. He'll figure it out. Corky and Fats. Now, see, Corky can get crazy, but he also does have a level-headed self to him. He can make sense. He can just get crazy when people are questioning whether or not he's sane with Fats. And I think Fats and Corky, since they have a sheer determination to live, I think he can probably figure out this cookie challenge. Because, yeah, a lot of standard people were able to figure it out. By following, smart guys who are licking the cookie. He'll just follow suit, I believe. The Trickster? He's got it. He's a smart guy. I mean, he doesn't really do a lot of manipulating, but he is like smart enough. Like he's a sort of a weird moral guide to Edward Furlong and Brain Scan. Like he tries to teach him a lesson or two. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. Dracula! He's smart enough not to fuck this one up. He's done a lot of planning in his years. All the years he's been around. He'll be fine. That seems like a good amount of people to lose in the cookie challenge. That's about right for that. And now, you might be confused, Midnight Brawl is not one of the games, but like one of the official games, but the idea here is that in Squid Game, by this point, this is when they someone gets killed, and then the money like bar raises up, and that's where they realize, oh, the more people die, the more the money goes up. We could just kill each other, and we'll raise the money. So it's like at midnight, it's the dead of night, the entire room is dark, they're all in the rooms, and they start trying to kill each other. And eventually, the Squid Game people, they come in and stop it, but there's a brief window of opportunity where there's just gonna be a brawl. Now, to determine a winner here, well, determine who survives this, you've got either gonna be good in a straight-up fight, or good at lurking in the shadows to hide. Freddy, surprisingly, is shown to be pretty good in a fight. When he fought Jason, he put up his dukes, like he fought back and slashed. He'll be good in a fight. Michael Myers definitely has the brute strength to survive around here. We even saw recently in Halloween Kills that he was able to take on a group, a horde of people attacking him at once, and he managed to come out on top. I think he can pull off something similar here. Chucky can stay, like, hide under a bed or something. Billy, he's also pretty alright staying in the shadows, but I've seen him go out to immediately attack and then fall. I mean, Billy isn't usually the one falling, but he still is clumsy. The ghost faces are all generally clumsy in some way or another. And I think he might end up like rushing in to attack anybody, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody here could probably kick his ass. The thing about Scream is that they make it a lot more realistic. If you get stabbed in Scream, you're likely to bleed out instead of just like it's just nothing like it is in a horror movie. And I think if he gets stabbed by any of these guys, he's out. He's not going to do good in Midnight Brawl. He's going to attack somebody. It's not going to work out for him. Herbert West, he's pretty good at sneaking off into the darkness when he doesn't want to be seen. And I know this glowing reagent might be a bad sign, but he's probably keeping it in the bag. He usually keeps it in the bag. Yeah, and he could also, if he wanted to attack, he could overdose a couple people, like one guy with it, and have his insides burst out and start attacking everybody. So he could really make this a mayhem in the dark while he fucking slips off. Pennywise? Pennywise is usually not confrontational. I've seen Pennywise just slurk off into the darkness, and when Pennywise does fight, he did take on those kids pretty well. I mean, there was a lot of kids attacking him at once, and he still fought them off by shapeshifting and shit. Although I'm not sure if he can really shapeshift here because his powers are gone, so he'll probably just lurk off in the darkness and stay hidden, which seems about right for him. Annie? We have not actually... I don't know if she's great at hiding. She was able to catch that policeman off guard by hiding in her house, but that was her house. She might try to attack somebody, I could see happening. If Annie tries to attack someone, I guess it depends on who she's attacking, but if she's going out in the battlefield, I could see a lot of these people getting the better of her. I think Annie's gonna get hurt here. She can't really hide that well, and she lost to Paul Sheldon, who was in a wheelchair. Like, he didn't have access to his legs, he just tackled her, and he got her. He just bashed her head in. I think we're losing Annie here. Carrie! Now, if she had her telekinesis, she would be great in this scenario. But unfortunately, she does not have her telekinesis, and is just a teenage girl. One who was not shown to be exceptionally good at hiding or anything, because she's not like a real slasher. And yeah, I think by this point, with the loss of her telekinetic powers, she might really start freaking out because people are trying to attack and kill her. And that might just be it for Carrie. With no powers, she is ultimately one of the horror victims you would find. You would find like her as a horror victim. So yeah, I think we've lost Carrie here. Norman Bates? He snuck up on that girl in the shower, but I mean that was because there was a lot of the shower. It was interrupted, drowning out all the sound. I don't think he's a great fighter. I do not recall Norman being a really good fighter. I think he might, because we saw that he was restrained by that policeman the second he showed up, and easily wrestled the knife out of his hands. I think here we're losing Norman. Norman's gonna get got here. Pinhead, even without his powers, is still like, he's pretty intelligent. I think he can stay out of the limelight if he needs to. Tall Man as well, and even I should straight up say that Tall Man is still supernaturally powerful. He's got some good strength on him. He's able to lift like a big coffin of a body inside by himself. So, any of these guys come up to the Tall Man, he'll punch him like 50 feet away. He'll knock him. He'll knock him across the room. You don't want to get near the Tall Man.
Okay. And goodbye.
And also his Sentinel Spheres, like, since that's not a power, that's a weapon, he's got a pretty good arsenal on him for this. When people try to fuck with him, he'll drain their brains out. Yeah, you don't want to get around Tall Man. Hannibal Lecter, he will be fine. He was able to blend in pretty well. Like, when he was trying to escape the prison, he disguised himself as a dead body. He could do that here, disguised as a dead body on the floor. So that would be pretty good for him. He could get out of that one. I think this is where Reagan's going to falter. Reagan is not... Pazuzu spends most of the movie in a bed, waiting until Reagan rots in the earth, and then saying that this... like, saying your mother sucks cocks in hell, and just spitting her head and vomiting. So she's not great at hiding. We haven't seen her hide, and she's definitely not a fighter. I think we're losing Reagan here. Alright, John Kramer in the Midnight Brawl. Okay, he made it pretty far, but... He spends all of his time, he sets traps, but he himself, he doesn't actually do a lot physically speaking. We don't really see him hide, because once the police, like, he does hide, like, from the police, but, like, he's not, like, there's never been, like, a one-on-one scenario where he's up against a guy and he just stalks him in a room. He was just, like, in his wheelchair and they caught him, he's like, hey, you can't arrest me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, he's not winning any fights at all. And by this point, he's probably pissed off everybody in the room with his, like, morals. He's like, I'm not a killer. I just put people in traps where they die because I set up a trap where they would die. I'm not a killer. I think his morals are going to piss a lot of people off and make him a huge target. He has no way to fight back, and I've seen nothing when it comes to stealth for him. I think we lost a big icon. We've just lost John Kramer. Angela is shown to be pretty strong in the sequels. I mean, she full-on decapitated a dude with one swing of her machete. So that's pretty good for strength. I think she can strike back if anyone's trying to attack her. She's pretty physically active, because she gets into a lot of camp sports in those later movies, because she becomes she's a camp counselor. She's really enthused about camp. She is indeed a happy camper. So, I mean, I think she's energized enough and, like, bloodlusted enough to where I think she actually will take out a couple of these guys. And I think she'll be okay. Also, we've seen her be a full-on slasher that can hide around real good. I'm sort of remembering now how angry Captain Spaulding gets, and, like, how angry everybody gets in those movies. Would he have made it past the cookie challenge? Because he might have got very angry and broken the cookie in, like, in a swearing fit. I don't know if he's actually smart enough to do the cookie challenge, because I haven't seen him be, like, a big, intelligent guy. He's just does killings and likes it. Yeah, alright, Captain Spaulding, you weren't supposed to make it this far. You're breaking that cookie. Reagan ultimately has no powers anymore, so it's just a girl, just a little girl in the Midnight Brawl. All of her, like, great killings involve her, like, teleporting around and being all sneaky. They involve her teleporting around and just killing people through unknown methods, but here that's not really gonna work. I mean, granted, she's like, she might be hard to spot in the dark, but once someone does, I think that's it. I don't know if she can really defend herself. Max Cady, he took on several people at once when they were like a bunch of people were supposed to gang up on him, but he was able to get the upper hand and fight back and beat the hell out of everyone around him. It was a great scene, and I think he can take on anybody that's coming after him because he's physically stronger than a couple of these guys. Now there are some people that are stronger than him, like I guess I would say that the tall man is probably stronger than him. But I think he'll probably stay away from those fights and fight the more human characters.
I can outlearn you. I can outread you. I can outthink you. And I can outphilosophize you. And I'm gonna outlast you. You think a couple of whacks to my good old boy gut's gonna get me down? It's gonna take a hell of a lot more than that, counselor, to prove you're better than me.
Henry Evans. He's small. He could probably hide in a couple of places, and I don't know if anyone's going to be targeting the child. Henry Evans has a chance of pissing a couple people off, but I think he'll be fine here. I think he can hide. He's shown to be pretty good with that. Corky and Fats. We saw that Corky was able to kill like that boyfriend character by using Fats as sort of a distraction. So I think Corky could actually get a couple good kills in here, because he's shown to be pretty stealthy and good at committing murders while hiding. I think he can do it just fine. Use Fats to distract some people, and get them from behind with a knife. Or like give Fats the knife. Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Here he is, boys! Here he is, world! Here is Fats!
Alright, let's see. The Trickster. The Trickster in a midnight brawl. Well, from what I saw, if you try to punch the Trickster, you absorb into him, and he eats you. Which I guess it's a power? Or is that just physically what he is? Is that more like a biological thing? I don't know. I haven't seen him fight. I haven't seen him stalk anybody. And if he doesn't have that power, I think he's just like a very strange man who likes to do weird shit. I don't know if that's enough to win in this midnight brawl. I think he's getting got here. Sorry, Trickster. Game over. You lose. Dracula in a midnight brawl. How many of these guys do you think know the very basic weaknesses of a vampire? Like, obviously, it's not daytime, so that's pretty good for him. It'll be night. He'll be hiding. I think Dracula's gonna be good at hiding. Like, he's pretty good at being a little phantom of the night, hiding from all these people. I think he'll do just fine. He'll manage. Alright, then I think that leads us to the tug of war, where now we have to lose half of the team. We have to lose half of these guys. So first, to determine who's going to win tug of war, we have to look at first brute physical strength, and also your ability to work as a team. Like, the side that won, they had like a good tactic for winning tug of war. So there's teamwork and brute strength involved. Freddy already actually has some pretty good brute strength on him since he was able to go toe to toe with Jason. And I think like he was able to work with Jesse, like to become the second Freddy, I guess. I think he's worked with Jason, like, he's manipulated him. I think he can work alright for team, even if the team to him is just a bunch of pawns.
Go ahead, Jesse. Try it on for size.
Pamela, I have not seen her be physically powerful. She usually resorts to slapping, and well, she got she got decapitated by that girl. And she's not a good teammate. I mean, I've never seen her be on a team with anybody. I think we're losing Pamela. We might have... I know we have to come back because... Let me check. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There are 15 people here. And, well... Oh, man, hold on a minute. If there are 15 people, we gotta let one of these guys just go to the next round. Because... yeah, it's gotta be even. We'll let Dracula exist in the next round. You know, seniority. Anyways... There are like, there's 14 people here now. We have to get rid of like 7 of them. So we got rid of 1. We gotta get rid of 6 more. Chucky, I think we're losing Chucky. He is literally, he is the weakest of them all. because he's a doll. He is ultimately a doll. He's a smart doll, and he is actually a human in that doll. But like, I'll admit, he's very strong for a doll. Like he's able to hold down a lot. He's able to wrestle down a couple of grown adults. But out of everyone here, he's definitely the weakest. And when it comes to teamwork, he's all right with teamwork, but I don't think it's gonna matter because he's a doll. I doubt he's even gonna be able to like keep his feet on the ground. All right, we lost Chucky. Poor Chucky. Herbert West. Okay, he outright stated in a comic book, and like that people underestimate how strong he actually is. He apparently got pretty strong because he's been digging up so many graves, and then he cuts up a big monster to pieces with an axe. So he actually does have the brute strength, and he's able to manipulate people to being on his side, like Dan and that guy from Beyond Reanimator. So I think he's going to be just fine for this. Pennywise is pretty strong. He was able to crack that hall of mirrors, that mirror to pieces when Bill couldn't do it at all. He couldn't even put a dent in it. So Pennywise clearly has supernatural strength on him. He'll be okay. Pinhead, he works as the Cenobite, so he's pretty good for team. He'll be okay. Hannibal, he's all right when it comes to physical strength, but I haven't really seen him be a part of a team. I mean, he's given hints to Clarice, although he only did so when she would give him tidbits about her life. So he's pretty weird like that. I think this might be where we lose Hannibal Lecter, actually. Because he's just, he's not that strong. I mean, he did, he killed a police officer, but he had to handcuff him first. I don't think there's anything too notable about his strength there, and nothing that's really good for him on a team. Alright, Angela, she's not that, she did decapitate that guy, which is pretty good strength, but compared to a lot of these other guys, I'm not sure if that's, measuring up to the other ones. She also never worked on a team with anybody, ever, and she doesn't really manipulate a lot of people. I think we're losing Angela here. Max Cady, he's a powerhouse, he's physically really powerful, he was training in prison all those years. He'll be okay. He's pretty good at manipulating people. He was able to manipulate Sam's daughter into believing he was a good guy, so that's pretty good for him. Henry Evans is going to be less than worthless here. I don't think he's going to be... His physical strength is lacking, and the only teamwork he's had is when he was trying to get Mark on his side. Even that, he wasn't really committed to that. Esther, child body, not getting through this one. We just have to lose one more then. And, Corky and Fats. Corky, unlike these guys, I haven't seen him be supernaturally strong in any sense. He's just a guy. And Fats is not alive. I haven't really said that outright yet. Fats is not alive. Corky is just genuinely crazy and makes Fats talk. And so, it's not getting double power here. It is just Corky, an insane man, who's just normal.
What's going on?
We're dying, I think, is what it is.
Dying?
Alright, so that's 7. So we got split down half, and Dracula gets to come back in because he has seniority. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 people here, and that leads us to marbles, where we have to lose another half of our team. Now, for marbles, I think of, this is about, they are given 20 marbles, and they gotta both come up with a game to play together, and whoever wins that game gets to survive, the other gets to die. But beforehand, they sort of trick you. Like, they have you alright, come on, team up with one person you trust. Like, you're supposed to choose someone that you want to team up with. And and then you gotta kill them. So, I'm gonna try to decide who I think these characters would want to team up with. I think, Herbert West and Max Cady would probably be good together. Because Herbert, I could see him, like, he was in prison for a while, and he probably relates to Max Cady on some level. In that regard, they've both been in prison. That's sort of a connection I can see between the two. You know, because Max is always talking about God and stuff, and Herbert West, as he denounces God, because he thinks that, he thinks he's equal to God at least. But yeah, I think they would have interesting conversations together. They'd get along throughout this whole, the entire Squid Game. These two are just talking and having fun with each other. Or probably not even having fun, just having real conversations. They'd get along. Freddy Krueger, who would he hang out with? Would it be Pennywise? Would they get along with their shared love for terrifying kids and being the embodiment of horror? Probably. They could probably get along. Yeah, I'll say Freddy and Pennywise get together for this one. I can see Pinhead and the Tall Man getting together for a team up. Because, like, yeah, they have a sort of, like, religion thing going on. Like, they have philosophical sort of, ideals in a way. I think they just sort of fit together. And that just leaves Dracula and Michael Myers. I feel like Dracula is just like, hey, you want to team up? And Michael Myers didn't talk. He's like, well, I think that is a yes, I guess. For two classic icons here. So who's gonna win these matches? Max is, he was smart, but we have to consider, before going to prison, he did not even know how to read. He is still, like, he's smart when it comes to stalking Sam and his family and getting revenge. But in other ways, we don't see too many other avenues of, like, how he's smart. He's able to manipulate that girl, but honestly, you could argue that maybe it was a bad idea on her part to follow him after the conversation they had. I don't think most people would have had sex with him after he had that conversation. Like, after he admitted to being from prison. Yeah, and Herbert West is a great manipulator too, and I would say probably a better manipulator, because while Max was able to manipulate Sam's daughter into, like, thinking he was good for a bit, it did not last very long at all. And Herbert West was able to manipulate Dan into staying on his side throughout 2 movies. Like, he stuck with him for a while. And generally, when it comes to mind games and such, I think Herbert West just has him beat. So yeah, I think, yeah, this is Max Cady actually came pretty far. Like, he did pretty good for what was asked of him. But ultimately, he got a bad partner on this one, of Herbert West. Right, Freddy versus Pennywise. Who's gonna outsmart the other here when it comes to, like, a little game? Now, Freddy's manipulative, Pennywise is they both use your worst fears against you, and they manipulate that to kill their enemies. I guess Freddy might be more familiar with games, but Pennywise is capable of thinking on a cosmological level that's far beyond any human's rational thinking. Would that mean he can come up with a game that Freddy just won't get, but he thinks he gets it? I don't know if Freddy would agree to that. Gee, oh my god, hold on. I gotta think for a little bit. I've seen Pennywise coerce more people into doing things. Like, he convinced Georgie to reach for the boat and, like, come, like, talk to him for a while. He convinced Vicky to come over so he could blow away the zit. I don't know if... I mean, that smooth talking is going to be helpful here. Like, he was trying to convince Freddy to play this certain game that he knows. Oh, man. Freddy's smart, but I think Pennywise... he's generally... I think he might be a little more clever, generally speaking. Because Freddy was able to manipulate Jesse, but I can't think of many other amazing instances of him being intelligent. I mean, he is intelligent. He has done some smart things with his powers, but I think Pennywise has him beat here. I really say, yeah. Sorry, Freddy.
I am eternal, child. I am the eater of worlds and of children.
Okay, marbles between the Tall Man and Pinhead. When it comes to trickery, I've seen, like, the Tall Man disguise himself as several characters like Jody or the girl that they're hanging that Mike and Reggie were hanging out with, and then turned out to be Tall Man at the end. He's able to disguise himself and act like he's able to trick a bunch of people who know that he exists. They're after the Tall Man, and he's still able to trick them. Pinhead is not really a trickster. He's just sort of like like a mysterious being who loves pain and pleasure, and he just is after this girl because she solves his box. He solves his box and he's after him, but he's not really a tricky kind of guy. And I haven't really seen him manipulate. Well, he manipulated that one evil guy in the killing form, but I don't think he's done it as much as the Tall Man. And that would make me believe that the Tall Man is smarter. And there's like there's no marble game that would be comparable to opening a box, like the big box. So yeah, I think Tall Man's outsmarting him.
You play a good game, boy, but the game is finished. Now you die.
Alright, now we've got Michael Myers and Dracula. Dracula's smart. Michael Myers he's not dumb. I would not call Michael Myers dumb. But he's very focused on killing. He can kill well, but I have not seen him do much else. Dracula is a cunning manipulator. Michael Myers is not. That's as simple as that. Michael Myers is gonna fail. He's gonna fail the marble game, tilt his head, and get shot for it.
Good night, Mr. Renfield.
And now this leads us to glass stepping stones, which we're starting to run a little low on combatants. So, I know we need 3 people at the dinner table. So who's the one most likely to fail first at glass stepping stones? And we'll say the rest make it. The rest make it just fine. So, in glass stepping stones, from what I remember, you have to first pick a number. Like there's number 1, and there's a bunch of other numbers that get down. I would say this comes down to who's the most arrogant, but I think all 4 of these guys are arrogant, but all 4 of them are smart enough to know that picking number 1 is not a good pick here. I think they're all smart. They're not gonna choose number 1 in Squid Game after all the horrible things that have happened. So it's just who's gonna get their way? Who's gonna be able to talk the others into choosing number 1, I guess. This is really tricky. I think the thing is, Herbert West, I usually would consider him to be one of the better ones here in terms of manipulating people into doing things. But he's dealing with people who have a very different thought process than he. Tall Man is from some unknown dimension where he thinks about who knows what. Pennywise is from the Deadlights, this completely weird dimension that's far beyond his comprehension. And Dracula is just a completely different species than a human. So I don't know what he can... He's used to tricking humans, but he doesn't really have a lot to play off of here. He doesn't know what they want. He doesn't know what they care about. He knows about the weaknesses of a human. He can manipulate a human well. But here, I think everyone else is good at manipulating humans, but Herbert West is going to have to manipulate these guys. And that might be where he falters. I think all of these guys are going to be able to trick him into choosing number 1, or at least convince him that it's the good play or something. I just don't think he can trick them into doing it, and he might have to do it himself. Even if he knows he's walking into a dangerous situation, his hubris might make him think that despite that, he can still win. He can still find a way around it. And that would unfortunately cause his downfall. That's a shame. I really like Herbert West. He was my favorite character here, like in terms of these 4. But we've lost him. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to lose him here. Let's say for the sake of a narrative, Herbert actually did, like that one guy, he could read the glass panels to figure out like which ones were the ones he could step on. Like he actually, of all the things that Herbert knows, that's one of the things it turned out. And he made it all the way to like he was starting getting across. The Squid Game people got super pissed, so they made it dark, but But then the tall man chipped in, like he got one of his sentinel spheres to have a flashlight for Herbert. You know, it was a team effort to get to the end. It looked like no one was gonna die. They were at the final panel, but then, you know, Pennywise, you know, he's lurking. He's lurking behind Herbert. He's wondering, you know, if Herbert can float like a balloon. So he pushes him. Herbert crashes through the glass. He's cursing Pennywise's name. He promises revenge, but then it goes splat. And then Pennywise laughs. You know, he hops around and gets out of there. And then, yeah, that's it. That's it for Herbert. That's how it all went down. All three of them, they're celebrated for coming so far. They're given a feast. They're given a great steak. They haven't had a good meal in years. I bet Pennywise will appreciate that. A nice meal. Even though it's not actually dead children, it'll be enough for him. Dracula must love the blood and the steak. Tall man, he'd be okay with it. He'd be alright with that. But they were all given steak knives. And now, all three of them with steak knives, one of them's gotta die in order for the Squid Games to work. So who's gonna win this no-holds-barred down fight? This little fight that they're gonna have. Who will win it? The thing is, all three of these guys are used to having powers and not directly fighting anybody. So, I guess the tall man having brute strength is gonna be good for him here. But Pennywise has pretty good strength on him too. He has supernatural strength. Dracula, I've seen sometimes he has supernatural strength, but I've seen in other times people have been able to get the upper hand on him, physically speaking. Like Dracula's strong enough to lift a guy with one hand, but Pennywise and the tall man can both do that, definitely, and I've seen them do more. So physically speaking, I think they can crush Dracula. I think we're losing Dracula. He does not have the physical brute strength that the other two have. But hey, goddamn, Dracula made it to the top 3. That's pretty good. This icon of horror, one of the old ones, he made it all the way to the top 3. That's pretty good for him. But this also means the Squid Game is up to Pennywise, the dancing clown, and the tall man. It's what it's all coming down to. These two beings of supernatural origin with a high mind. They're very intelligent. And they've got many powers that they can't really use now, but they were still able to come very far with their proven strength, their manipulation skills, just being very smart little guys. But only one can win this Squid Game. So what is the Squid Game? What is it all about? From what I remember, it was like there's an attacker and a defender, and the attacker has to get past the defender. But if we're gonna be honest, since that Squid Game could just end in a fucking fight to the death, that's probably what's happening here. I think these two are both out for blood at this point. So, with no powers to speak of, who will win this straight-on fight between Pennywise and the tall man? Okay, the tall man is a pretty strong guy, and so is Pennywise. So, strength-wise, I can see them both getting each other in a fucking stalemate of trying to squeeze each other, trying to wrestle each other to the ground, but it won't work that well. Who's been in a fight? Let me see. I saw the tall man backhand people away, but Pennywise took on all those kids at once and was throwing them around and attacking them and punching them. He was actually fighting pretty well for himself. And even though most of that was of his powers, he was able to throw people off of him and he fought. He knows how to fight. And that might just be it. That might just be what he needs to come out on top here. Because they both don't have powers, and it is just they're on a similar strength level. The one who's gonna win is the guy who knows how to fight. And I think that would be Pennywise. Oh, well, I forgot to mention they do have weapons, beyond the steak knife. I gave everyone their signature weapons. So Tall Man has his sentinel sphere, and Pennywise has his balloon. I guess the balloon has shown it can become very, very large. And it can become probably large enough to just push the tall man out of the ring in Squid Game, and then Pennywise wins. That's basically... Because the Sentinel Sphere, it's probably just going to pop the balloon first of all, which will just send a shockwave that launches the tall man away. Or, if he uses it first, Pennywise is most likely going to catch it and crush it in his palm, because that's what the tall man can do with the Sentinel Spear. When one came after him, he immediately ripped it out and just destroyed it. So I think Pennywise has the better weapon here, at least for Squid Game. So that's another reason why he could probably take this one. I can't see either of them outsmarting the other, because I think they're both above humans in terms of their thinking capacity. But Pennywise is, I think he's got it. I really think he's got the physical, he's got the fighting skill, even if it was just that fight with the kids. That beats out the guy who has no fighting experience at all, who left it all to his lurkers. Pennywise, I see, the tall man, he had all those lurkers working for him, all those minions. Pennywise was every single one of his minions. They were all him. He transformed into them. He was a one-man army from the get-go, while the tall man was trying to build an army. And that's why, ultimately, the winner of Squid Game is Pennywise!
Time to float!
Yay, Pennywise! What's he gonna do with the money? I don't know. Buy a cleaner sewer for himself? Get a nice little shrine to put all those floating kids in? Who knows what he'll do? But he will know, he will go back home to Derry, knowing that he was the top dog of all these horror icons. So thank you for watching my horror movie characters in Squid Game video. If you want to leave your own opinions about who would win this, I actually made a tier maker page with all these characters on it, and you can sort of rank it yourself how you think it would go down. Because I could see people thinking of this differently than how I thought of it. Maybe you want to include the powers, like you want to let them have their powers. That could have changed things up a bit. So yeah, you can see for yourself how you think this would have gone. Until then, I'll see you next time.